Welcome. Today, I would like to talk about eclipses. We're going to look at eclipses in general to understand their dynamics, and then we're going to examine the eclipses that we're about to experience over the next couple of weeks. Eclipses are a breakdown or breakout event. The 2 weeks between eclipses are a portal. They're an etheric gateway that opens a transformative passageway. It's an open conduit from one state of consciousness to the next, a ripple in space-time, a threshold between past and future. An eclipse mirrors the shadow within society and ourselves. It releases static energy, sheds outdated patterns, and catalyzes change. Eclipses occur when the sun and moon are conjunct or in opposition. To see a lunar eclipse, the moon has to be above the horizon. It has to be night or dark or dusk. This only happens for half of the Earth at any given time. The moon's orbit is inclined at 5 degrees from the ecliptic, the Earth's orbital plane. Most of the time, the new or full moon swings too far to the north or too far to the south for an eclipse to occur. A total solar eclipse can only be seen across a narrow band that tracks along the Earth's surface, and the accompanying partial solar eclipse can only be seen in the areas that are adjacent to that track. Twice every month, as the moon circles the Earth in its orbit, it crosses the ecliptic, the imaginary circle drawn by the Earth's orbit around the sun and the lunar nodes. If the moon is going from south to north, it's called the moon's ascending node. If the moon is moving from north to south, it's called the moon's descending node. The full moon of December 17th is a partial lunar eclipse, and the new moon of October 2nd is a total solar eclipse. Many cultures have believed that an eclipse portends a major historical event. The reason that eclipses incur such anxiety is that they often occur when the sun and moon are in close distance to the lunar nodes. The lunar nodes are the karmic evolutionary trajectory from the past to the future, experienced through our emotional bodies. Energetically, the time-space between the eclipses is a portal saturated with life force. An eclipse is approximately 35 days long. At least 2 or 3 eclipses will take place. Typically, we have 4 eclipses per year, 2 in one eclipse season and 2 eclipse seasons in one calendar year. Eclipse seasons repeat in cycles of approximately 173 days, just short of 6 months. Eclipses are a time when significant people come onto or leave the planet. It is said that being born around the time of a solar eclipse can be a fortuitous sign of future success or an ominous portrait of a dark destiny. It is also when a major world events begin to unfold or culminate. Among those born during this energetic vortex include members of the British royal family. King Charles was born on an eclipse, and he was crowned on one. Kate Middleton was born under a blood moon total lunar eclipse in Cancer. Charles married Diana 2 days before a solar eclipse. 16 years later, Diana's tragic car crash that killed her, her driver, and her partner, Dodi Al-Fayed, occurred 2 days before a solar eclipse. Charles married Camilla 1 day after a solar eclipse. The other famous people born during an eclipse include Scarlett Johansson, Jonah Hill, and Donald Trump. Significant world events have also occurred throughout history during an eclipse. The oldest recorded eclipse in human history may have been on November 30th, 3340, before the Common Era. A series of spiral-shaped petroglyphs was found at the Loughcrew megalithic monument in County Meath, Ireland. Petroglyphs are rock carvings made by pecking into stone Immediately in front of a carving that shows overlapping concentric circles, archaeologists found the charred remains of nearly 50 individuals. Scholars continue to research and discuss the meaning of these petroglyphs. A total eclipse in 569 is mentioned in the Quran, and most scholars believe that it preceded of Prophet Muhammad's birth. The path of totality was south of Mecca, where he was born. At Chaco Canyon in New Mexico, a petroglyph carved into the rock face by early Pueblo people may represent an eclipse on July 11th, 1097. There was a partial eclipse that was also seen in 1453 during the fall of Constantinople. In 1916, Albert Einstein published his general theory of relativity, which states that the presence of mass curves space-time. During this eclipse, two teams of astronomers took pictures of stars near the sun that proved that gravity warps space. The periodicity and recurrence of eclipses are governed by the Saros cycle, a period of approximately 6,585.3 days, which is 18 years, 11 days, and 8 hours. It was known to the Chaldeans as a period when lunar eclipses seem to repeat themselves, but the cycle also applies to solar eclipses. From mid-September, this September, to early October this year, an eclipse season unfolds, delivering a partial lunar eclipse on September 17th and a total solar eclipse on October 2nd. The 26 degrees Pisces lunar eclipse occurs at 10:34 Eastern Daylight Time and will be visible across the Americas, Europe, and Africa. It's part of Saros Series 118, which last occurred in September 2006. In August of that year, the International Astronomical Union redefined the definition of a planet for the first time since Galileo, reclassifying Pluto as a dwarf planet, 76 years after its discovery. Ironically, this was the same year that the first probe was sent to Pluto. In October of that year, North Korea conducted its first nuclear test. Mutable water energy saturates the archetypal dynamics of this powerful new moon. Pisces is the great dissolver. Water can liquefy and dissolve anything and everything in its path. It can do it slowly, drip by drip, or it can do it instantly as a deluge that washes away everything in its path. Pisces corresponds to the most profound and sensitive component of our emotional body. It is unconditional love and ultimate truth. Its impressionable nature opens the doorway to our intuitive and psychic abilities, which we all have, but generally misunderstand, underutilize, or fail to recognize. It can wash over us with a tidal wave of insecurity and then leave indelible impressions of truth realized. As the connection to that which is greater than ourselves, it opens doors to the transcendental nature of reality. In the final degrees of the Saturnian influence on the moon, we can struggle to be mired to complete the work of restructuring and structuring reality as we know it. Our instinctual subconscious knowing is activated and reveals connections that have been hidden. We can balance the injustice that we see around us by allowing our doorways to greater consciousness and understanding to provide new strategies going forward. The double-kited configuration that populated the September 2nd Virgo new moon has expanded, adding another kite pattern to the lunar eclipse. The Virgo sun now anchors Neptune and Pluto. A triple kite formation is at the core of this lunation. The Earth is the predominant element of these grand trined kites. New structures are developing below the surface of our awareness that seek to alter the nature of the world around us. Capricorn and its ruler are strict taskmasters. Their dynamics can be suppressive, repressive, or oppressive. They represent authority, and they demand that we recognize it. Like Pluto, they take no prisoners. However, they teach mastery and skills that we need to learn and better navigate the 3D reality as we age and mature. Mars, Neptune, and Pluto are the resolution points, the deus ex machina to this tribunal. When events seem to be going sideways, engage with what is greater than yourself, what is spiritual, metaphysical, and transcendent, to find solutions to difficult emotional situations and people that want to overwhelm you. Injustice is a viral component, viral variant out of control. When the impulses and the seemingly impossible ideas and solutions that arise intuitively from your higher mind, allow them to pollinate and grow. The fabric of time and space is being rewoven in an intricate pattern by the process of self-reliant, individuated self-actualization, according to intuitive messages from the higher mind. Creativity, individuality, and self-empowerment are stymied by stubborn self-reliance and adherence to familiar ways of being in the self-development of ourselves and the world we share. Ceres is telling us that our ideas and the choices they manifest need to be driven towards self-nurturing, commitment to sacred self, and attention to proactive health, which has been neglected in the past. Capricorn and its ruler Saturn are strict taskmasters. Their dynamics can be oppressive, repressive, or oppressive. They represent authority and demand that we recognize it. Like Pluto in their way, they take no prisoners, especially with Eris on board. Chiron represents the opportunity to heal the ills of self-importance. Venus encourages finding balance in all problematic situations. These trans-Jupiter energies, especially Saturn, teach mastery and skills that we need to learn and better navigate 3D reality as we age and mature. The collective wounds that we are suffering are due to the neglect of our essential values and priorities. Events are teaching us some hard lessons about what is essential for health and well-being of ourselves and the planet. Outer world circumstances demand that we rebalance our priorities and make different choices going forward. The crises that we are experiencing globally can be healed, but it is imperative that different choices must be made. The diversity of what populates the media is a quagmire of disinformation. We're being saturated with some truths, some lies, and some outright fantasies generated by AI. All truth is not ultimate truth. All love is not ultimate love. Measure what you hear with your heart and your intuition. This Cardinal Grand Cross is an energetic hand grenade in a steel box. It is a highly charged situation full of unresolved issues that are creating consequences from our actions and blatant inactions regarding the choices we have made or ignored about our most essential values and priorities. Cardinal crosses are volatile configurations poised to release pent-up energies with no outlet. The volatility of Mars in emotional Cancer combines with, quote, Mother Superior Ceres in Capricorn. Strict adherence to the laws of nature and the laws of man are the cards these archetypes play with. These yads channel combined frequencies. The work is to find emotional balance from the traumas on the road ahead. Higher wisdom and calling out injustice will promote proactive self-care. Proactive self-care and personal choices that support well-being will battle the waves of emotional insecurity that will arise. Everything is dual. Everything has poles. Like or unlike are the same. The opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. Extremes meet. All truths are but half-truths. All paradoxes may be resolved, reconciled. The 10-degree, 3-minute Libra annular solar eclipse, the Ring of Fire solar eclipse, occurs on October 2nd at 2:49 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. It will be visible in South America. The path of annularity will cross over Chile and Argentina. The path will also cross over Easter Island. In the U.S., A partial solar eclipse will occur in Hawaii. It is part of Saros Series 144, which also occurred in September 2006. The symbol for Libra is the scales. As the archetype of opposition, the need for balance, to find common ground, and to recognize the singularity inherent in polarity. The principle of polarity is one of the Hermetic principles. Everything has polarity: day and night, dark and light, male and female, hot and cold, plus and minus. Singularity has no meaning without polarity. The foundation of the archetypes of Aries and Libra is to find reconciliation. At the solar eclipse, the cardinal grand cross formed at the lunar eclipse is now kicked up a notch, as the luminaries now are in close company with the lunar south node. Powerful, unresolved emotional undercurrents erupt from the past. There is a sense of loss and emotional pain. Voices are raised against injustice, iniquity, infidelity, and commitment to the principles upon which democracy was built. Libran winds have blown away one of the kites that filled the sky at the Virgo new moon and the Virgo lunar eclipse. Two kites remain. The overlay of Saturn and Capricorn intensifies the configuration. Pluto and Uranus are wild cards. One ambushes us, and the other shows no mercy. The impact is escalated as Mars rules the lunar north node and Venus rules the lunar south node. Saturn acts as a control point. Past and future seek alignment, supported by higher insights from Saturn. Peaceful resolution, however, seems elusive. The Saturn-Jupiter Vesta T-square from the lunar eclipse continues at the solar eclipse. The solar energy at the second eclipse activates the process of self-actualization. Use your time consciously. Empower yourself. Allow your right brain to be receptive to the mental impulses and higher consciousness and ideas that seem to come out of nowhere. Let them be your, quote, crumbs through the forest, and claim your creativity and self-reliance. Current events will continue and intensify. They have the potential to awaken our dreams. Chaos and uncertainty open the possibility to imagine far-reaching possibilities for change. The opportunity to dream of a different reality will emerge as consensus reality falters. We are programmed to believe that the outer world determines the state of our inner world. The exact opposite is true. Core archetypes of these eclipses, Virgo and Pisces, are the spiritual pathways. We climb the mountain to see God, but then we must come off the mountain to carry water and chop wood. The journey has no beginning and no end. It takes us over many mountains and rivers as we become more aware, more awake, and more conscious. We are the dreamers. The outer world is the projection of our inner world that is generally manifested subconsciously. Manifestation begins when we choose to actively dream the future. The universe is mental. We are generative energy, spirit beings that have the potential to create reality. Once we claim our birthright, we can begin to alter our outer world. We don't get to stand still, or at least not for long. Our reward is the journey itself. We may look back, but we can't go back. Your dream can be realized right in the present moment. You live your life in such a way that every step in the right direction and every breath along the way becomes the realization of your dream. Your dream does not take you away from the present. On the contrary, your dream becomes the reality of the present moment. It's essential to know the risks involved looking at a solar eclipse. Without proper eye protection, you can damage your vision. If you're planning on watching an eclipse, be sure to wear safety glasses or use a handheld viewer. Thank you all so much for your kind attention. We can do this. We just need to focus.